Hello, Chris. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you, David?
It's been a magical journey inside of all of us, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. We're plumbing the depths. That's the beauty of this Piscean Neptunian passage we're in the midst of. I also refer to the ocean as the ocean of divine love, and
Mm.
that's where the Pisces live, is in the deeper regions of that ocean. And so a lot of Pisces right now are feeling that depth and you know, discovering their fearlessness, I would say. Uh,
Wow.
because, when you get into the void, when you get into unknown water, it's a human instinct to be afraid, to be fearful. But a
Mm.
lot of Pisces that I'm dialoguing with are enjoying this period because they're discovering things about themselves and about the world around them that they were oblivious to. So this has been a very intense week.
Oh, it must be. This time is never going to come back in our lives. This much energy in Pisces. And it's funny that you bring up all these Pisces. Last night, I don't watch any TV, but I happened to glance the TV screen next to my room in my roommate's room last night, and Shaq, he's a big Pisces. It was just his birthday. He was going crazy on TV. He was running circles around the desk, like of the TV show, like running circles around and then going backwards. Like I was like, wow, like there is some really radical energy happening in Pisces, especially for the Pisces people and for everybody where Pisces is in your chart. It's such a weird place, and go deeper than just your sun sign. Go into your natal chart, and you'll really start to see these big depths you're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing I also love about the ocean, and you're spending a lot of time on the beach down there and talking to seals, and I'm sure the whales are floating around out off the coast going, Palmer's back. But in the midst of that, there's the flotsam that comes up on the beach. And that is kind of a way that the universe communicates to us, is the debris that comes along in our lives. Do you spend time picking up bottles, looking for messages? Because that's
Yes.
really, the intense nature of this very deep, deep period that we're in now, is if you walk along the beaches in your life, metaphorically, and look at the flotsam that's coming up on the shores, you're going to find messages. You're going to find prizes. You're going to find treasure that was left there from Captain Kidd and the Jolly Roger cruise. So be a little meditative, especially over this weekend. We're starting out this weekend with the preparation for the new moon. So the moon on Friday is going to be in Aquarius. And Aquarius is a very remote place for the moon. So you're not going to be feeling your emotions. You're going to be analyzing, intellectualizing, and looking at things for answers, seeking answers. And that'll prevail through Saturday. Then we hit Sunday, and that new moon entered a wave, a tsunami coming across from distant shores.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially because it's a dark moon in Aquarius. So there's a lot that we've spent in Aquarius about our futures. And I think this moon is going to teach us in Aquarius before the new moon to not emotionally get so wrapped up in the future and start to enjoy the really magical energy that the spirit is pulling us into. This is where you just allow spirit to take you to your future. It's not worrying about where the future is taking you, but enjoying this message that the universe is giving you, a lot like the messages on the beach you talk about, a lot about the meditation, a lot about the allowing, the surrendering, a lot about, letting go of all the obstacles, because that's what the universe is doing. Is Pisces frees you of your psyche, your, faults, your obstacles, all the things that hold you back from doing what you want to do. So don't get so wrapped up on the future with that moon. Like let the spirit do its work, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like you had mentioned, we are in the dark of the moon with the moon in Aquarius. And So we iterate this. The dark of the moon is a period of disintegration. So if you're trying to initiate something new Friday and Saturday, you're going to watch it dissolve right in front of you. It's going to be very ephemeral. So you have to wait, be patient, and be prepared to move with that new moon on Sunday. That's when you launch intention. That's when you put it out to the universe, especially Sunday evening. You know, if you're into your own sacred ceremony, light a candle, do some sage, do some incense, but make it a special event, because this is a very powerful new moon, and it has the effect of, you know, influencing events in our lives for months to come. So if you want your life to really move forward, put that positive intention into motion Sunday night, Monday morning.
And I think it's very interesting as you're talking about this new moon in Sunday. It's Saturday that really also gets me, because as the moon comes into Pisces, it touches Neptune. But what it does is it conjuncts Mercury retrograde and squares Jupiter. Exact. Mercury retrograde and Jupiter square hard on Saturday before this new moon. And this is a lot of our mind energy. This is a lot of us really, as we're on the beach, you know those guys who walk on the beach with the magnets looking for things, like with the headphones on. You know, we're doing that, but the headphones don't work. So it's like, what are all these signs? What are we picking up? And we can get lost mentally, trying to figure out so much, taking the mind too far, observing way too many facts. It can feel like, you know, you have a bag full of just trash and seashells, and you know there's a diamond somewhere in there, and you can get lost just looking for it. Just allow it to shake down to the bag in your life. Allow the information to trickle down. Like, let spirit trickle it down in its own way. Don't worry about how the information comes, and relax and chill and tap into that energy. And I think it's very interesting that this new moon is actually going to be right before Venus and the sun come together. And if you look at the sun is at the midpoint between Mars and Venus. So this is a very perfect spot of aligning our masculine, our feminine energy together, male, female energy really coming together in a nice union spiritually. I think it's a very different new moon, and especially because 6 planets are here in Pisces. We've never seen anything like this.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, even that squaring energy is somewhat ameliorated by the fact that we have that beautiful sextile between Pluto and Saturn.
Yeah.
And that is sextiling everything in Pisces. And then on top of that, we have the trine from Saturn into Pisces. So, you know, even though it may appear that, you know, you got a flat tire on the freeway, the reality is somebody's going to come along and not only provide you with a fresh tire, but they'll change the damn thing for you. So how cool is that?
Yeah, and Sunday is a really feel good day. I think it's Saturday where you would have to worry a lot more about that. But Sunday, Moon and Venus hook up right before that, and it's the last day pretty much of Mars in Pisces, because we're getting ready for this big kabam.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, for the weekend, our card for this passage, look at that. That's that Leo energy. So even though it's all about Pisces, that expansive Leo heart is going to be open, and the inner child is going to be playful. And if we get out there and approach the world looking for the innocence within it, we'll discover it. You know, I mean,
Wow.
That whole energy of you know, what the media projects on us about the world around us is always dark and frightening. But if we go out and socialize and move around, we'll discover some amazing experiences are awaiting us out there. You know, and then as we move forward on Monday, Tuesday, 8 of Cups, we're back on the journey. We're following our intuitive faculty, and we're letting go of the past. We're leaving behind all the old illusions that were not working for us. So big weekend. It's going to be a rocker, no doubt.
Wow. I think that, well, both cards are perfect. I mean, that Sun card, that's one of my favorite cards. It is so bright. That is like one of the best cards in the deck. It really offers so much illumination, so much fun, so much, you know, nucleus of love. But that card of the Eight of Cups, wow, that really signals that Mars in Aries, we're still going to be, towing a heavy load of Pisces. So I'm looking at Pisces as like, have you seen that commercial of that Toyota truck that pulled the space shuttle? Like, we're going to have Mars now towing a huge load on the freeway here, but we're leaving a lot of stuff behind. And he's pulling the whole entire Pisces energy of our deep inner core, our deep psyche right now, which is really washing clean and connecting with spirit. But now this is the first time that the electricity turns on, in our outer world. There's going to be some new energy to start to feel, to start to see the horizon. This is Mars really coming into the springtime. I mean, that 0-degree Aries point is an equinox point of the spring. It's a very powerful point, and that's where Mars loves to be. So Mars has, basically, it's like a cell phone where you unplug the charger. It's fully charged again.
Right, absolutely. And the other thing that's very interesting as we enter this equinox, it's always a 50-day, 50-night kind of thing. It's the day of equal balance, light and dark. And what I'm noticing is that the moon has made her presence very visible as she's moved through Aries, and that is a fertility intention. And then we have Mars looking to plant a seed. So once again, we're getting a strong balancing act going on here with the masculine feminine. The feminine moon will prepare the way, Mars will plant the seed, and then it's a cycle of growth. So this is going to be a really exciting advent of spring, I think, for a lot of people, if you are ready to seize the moment and move forward with it.
Definitely. And as that moon comes into Aries, it conjuncts Uranus, squares Pluto. This is us. And that Eight of Cups is perfect. You're going to have to shake off the past, break concrete in your life. Don't be afraid to break some shackles. This Aries energy is here to reinvent who you are. It is to reinvent your own courage, It's hard. I know it's hard out there, but it's the time for us all to really, I call it, grab some cojones and grab your ovaries and, lead yourself. You're the only person that can pick yourself up is the message. Yes, there's a lot of sensitivity with this Pisces energy. We've all been very vulnerable. We've all really had to tap into what that feeling of the universe really is. But we are here on Earth, and we are in human bodies, and we are having to, conquer the life we want. We have to reinvent the person we are to enjoy this spiritual realm at the best way. So I believe that as you leave the past, you cannot be afraid to leave the past. You must embrace the new. You must, really find new ways to access courage in your own self.
Right. And as you were mentioning these things, the thought occurred to me that, again, you're out there on the beach looking at the process of this beautiful, tranquil ocean or a stormy ocean or whatever it is. But there is this constant process going on of the waves coming in and cleansing the beach, removing the past. So that, again, is very much a part of that Neptunian Pisces ocean of higher consciousness effect on our lives.
Yes.
So, the big thing is to relax. Go to the beach, whether it's metaphorically or in actual physical content, and relax. Don't try to tell the ocean what to do, and you will definitely become a part of that process of cleansing and preparation for writing a new chapter in the story of your life.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And, we've been talking about the oceans because this new moon has 6 planets in Pisces, and that rules the ocean. And we'll never see this again. We'll never see this much Pisces energy clumped up. This is a very rare event. So you're lucky to live through it, but it's very interesting because it's dealing with deep inner stuff, but at the same time, if we were to look in the outer world, it does rule our ocean. It does rule fuel as well, so fuel prices could do something crazy here this week out of nowhere. It rules natural resources, in a very deep way, the very deep spiritual ones. And so I think it's interesting that you have described the ocean perfectly to a T of what it does consciously to us in our lives. But physically speaking, I've having a lot of dreams about the ocean. I've been at the ocean, and there's something brewing in there. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Abyss.
Oh, yes.
You know, there's something brewing down there. Maybe there's some magical world down there we don't even realize. You know, I mean, I really think it's sad we're not down there enough. I really think a discovery is going to come from the ocean before it does come from space.
Well, and the thing is, for us to actually start respecting the ocean and trying to clean it up, we've been using it as our cesspool for 5,000 years. I mean, it's just an unconscious reaction for many people to throw whatever it is that they don't want any longer into the sea, with expectation that they'll never have to look at it again. But yeah, it is a time of healing, and the ocean is ground zero for that on planet Earth. We've got to honor that process and ask it, reach out to it, try to supplicate some kind of a vision from that depth, and it'll come through. And for our card for next week, if you're really hooked in to the process of your own life and you're doing the work that David and I are speaking about, we have the Six of Swords coming up for the major energy of next week. And you can see this is smooth sailing. There are no waves out there rocking the boat. And there's an invisible force that is guiding the boat. You can just barely see that outline. So this coming week, if you're working with your intuition, if you're releasing these charges of blockage, you're going to have a pretty spectacular week. It's going to be one of those weeks where you look back at it 3 years from now and say, wow, that was an amazing time in my life.
It is, and this is also Mercury coming at the end of this week, stopping the retrograde energy, while the moon's in Taurus coming at the end of this week. This is going to really be the stabilizing effect for us as Mercury stops. I think it's necessary because there's been so much Pisces energy, so of course the universe is going to throw a moon in Taurus to ground us out, make us feel like we're done swimming a little bit. We're done swimming in the ocean. There's a little bit of stability, some calmness, because Mercury is going to stop there, and it's going to stop very close to Neptune. It doesn't go all the way, but it does get us right there to really, stop our thoughts on how do you connect to spirit? How do you connect to your inner pure core? How do you tap into your intuition? And understand that it's intuition that the mind must understand, that it's intuition and flow that your life must do, especially in this new era that we're in. And of course, 2013 would have the biggest bang in Pisces, and it will have a big bang in Aries. So I think that's interesting, as we'll be in other shows talking about that. But this Pisces one, I think, is the first setup to show you why we had December 21st, 2012, and why we are starting to shift.
Absolutely. And the other thing, whenever Mercury is stationary direct or stationary retrograde, be alert, because that is a prime period when people from the past or lessons from the past will reappear. So you may have a teacher or somebody who had profoundly influenced your life in the past show up. And, that can happen a lot of different ways. It could be a conversation like David and I are having here on the internet. It could be direct contact. It could be a spiritual thing where somebody who is no longer incarnate in this realm shows up at the foot of your bed at 3 a.m. and says, oh, by the way, don't forget what I told you about this or that. So, yeah, that Mercury going stationary direct, again, is an opportunity for some amazing insights, simply because voices from the past will be coming in your direction.
And last note is Saturn finally gets off 11 degrees. Saturn's been sitting at his stationary spot for a month and a half. So that next Friday, on the 15th, then we're talking about the end of your week. You will feel a huge shift in your life, going through a new moon, going through the new process, going through, some deep energy, and then also starting to feel some new outer energy, starting to feel some new power in your life, starting to feel some new, drive. And to have Saturn finally start breaking up and moving will really allow things to move a lot more. Saturn stationary can be hard. It can feel like things are stuck, that you're really just not able to move. And we've been stuck in spirit, which for most people, let's be honest, is uncomfortable. We're not used to this, you know. Human beings have been so on the outside world. I think it's funny that it's not our outside worlds that suck anymore. It's how do we get our inside worlds to not suck and handle all this stuff?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and that's a very salient point, the activity of Saturn, because it seems like Saturn was holding space for all of this activity in Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
So it was our anchor point, and even though it was anchoring in a water sign in Scorpio, its intention, you also look at the opposite sign where the Earth appears. So if the sun sign is in Scorpio, the Earth sign is in Taurus.
Yeah.
And so all that intention of grounding was going over to Taurus. So again, we can see how perfectly balanced the universe is making suggestions, offering insights, giving us a story of what's really going on if we will expand our vision.
Your anchor point just nailed it on the head. I mean, this boat we've been on needed that anchor. And Saturn looks like an anchor as I'm looking at him in the chart. And it's so interesting is at the end of this week, Friday, as the moon comes into Taurus to oppose Saturn, that's when Saturn finally breaks free. So it's our emotions that start to pull this anchor up. And what's also interesting is, you know, this is where the North and South Node are in our lives. It is this Scorpio Taurus. It is leaving behind old values. It is just going deep into the ocean to harbor our true desires, to harbor our true emotions, and let go. Especially emotionally, we're going to have to let go of old values. That goes with that Eight of Cups. You know, that goes with even those Six of Swords as you're getting pushed. Just know you're going in the right direction. Just know you're following your intuition. Just know that the sunshine is up in your life in a new way. You don't want to go back down to the sunset or the darkness of those old values, those old material world energy. Like, we're moving into a new place. You got to anchor into your true desires. You can't anchor in material or Taurus. You just can't go there anymore, you know?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and for those of you who are musical, I think this period right now has perfect expression by Jimi Hendrix. So if you're wondering how to musically look at this period, Hendrix did a track called "The Sea Eternally," and you might want to find that and play it because you will probably enjoy it.
Wonderful, Chris. Well, this was an excellent reading. They just keep getting better and better. I'm excited to see. I'm ready for the Aries energy. I am a fire sign, so I'm like ready.
Well, you know, my being such a heavy water sign, I enjoy the fire because it creates a little steam. So I'm looking for a steamy spring for all of us here.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and I'll definitely be talking to you next week. Look forward to it.
Yeah, it was great connecting with you, and you have a fabulous weekend.
All right, you too, Chris. Talk to you then.
Okay, take care.
Bye.